Welcome back to another Dry Fire Tools of the Trade. Tonight, or today, depending on where you are, we have another review. And that is another excellent book from Steve Anderson, Principles of Performance, Refinement, and Repetition, Volume 2. Let's get into it and talk about some of the things that this book does a little bit differently than Volume 1, which I have already reviewed. What this book really dives into is the mental game. After you make master a GM, depending on where you want to go within the sport, or even if you're just trying to get out of D class and you want to get bumped to B or A class, that is easy to do if you're working hard in this book. That being said, what do I mean by the mental game? Well, Steve does a great job of talking about what you should be thinking about in regards to giving your body something to do with your conscious mind and just letting your body shooting, which is the subconscious. You're not giving it any commands. You're not trying. What Steve says is you're not rushing, trying, or hurrying. You're simply moving the gun from target to target if you need to. You're simply drawing the gun as quickly as you can. You have to remember that whenever you are dry firing, all you are trying to do is burn in and create skills and create skills and then burn them into your subconscious. You're not going to the match to impress your friends. At least my friends aren't impressed. Don't know about yours. Like I said before in the introduction, what this book does a little bit differently than Volume 1 is it talks a lot about the mental game. As you can see right here, we're only on page 13, and it talks about the evolution of the mind game. Specifically Steve's mind game, because at this point you have already elevated your game to however you want to go within the sport of USPSA or IDPA. Doesn't necessarily have to be Grandmaster. If you're just trying to get to B or A class, that's perfectly acceptable. Regardless of where you are though, it's all about your self-image and the mind game. You're only going to be as good as you think you are. It's just something that this book really drives home. So talks about that shooting is 90% mental. As long as you're dry firing and trying to get some type of live fire work in besides your matches, you're going to get further than 99% of the population out there. Common mistakes right there. That is what will kill you in USPSA. Whether you are shooting a local indoor match, local club match, a nationals, it doesn't matter. These mistakes, if you study the sport and even see the great ones, sometimes you may catch them with one of these. I think there's roughly 40 or 50 common mistakes, and they start with even number one, not knowing the rules, not knowing when and where you can shoot, what you can do, the loading sequences, you name it, not knowing the rules. Those penalties will add up quickly. Running the gun dry, guys like myself that are shooting production, at least at the moment, hey, you know what? You probably shouldn't play in your stages around just 10 rounds because it's real easy to miss a steal, have a makeup shot. Oops, you missed again. Guess what? Now you've run the gun dry. Now you have to reload a slide lock gun, and let's be real. Speed reloading is simply a little bit faster than an emergency reload. So it goes through all of this. It goes from your attitude, reliving your mistakes. It's like my buddy Pat Mack says, it's water off a duck's rear end. You know what? You can't spend this much time losing. You got to spend this much time losing and moving on. If you make a bad shot, you have a bad stage, shake it off. Hopefully you've got a few more stages you can make it up. Guess what? That Hottie McHotdog on the other squad that you're competing against, he could very well make the same mistake. And guess what? It gets in his head and he blows the rest of the match. Seen it happen. So, moving on. He even talks about using 22s to practice. Let's be real. All of us have a limited amount of time. We also have a limited budget. At least I sure do. So guess what? Can you use 22s as live fire practice? Absolutely. If that's what you got to use, at least you're on the range. At least you're doing some work on the range with some live fire. So he teaches or goes into detail about some of the best ways he can see if you need to supplement your live fire practice with 22. Really good stuff right in here. Really cool thing here he goes into is that right there that everybody wants to get to one day, the super squad, right? Basically, the super squad is the top 16 guys in a division. at a national level event. He goes into the top 16 guys that he squatted with whenever he went to Open Nationals and gives a little rundown of their performance and their strengths and weaknesses and things like that. Really cool little tidbit there. Dry fire drills. Let's see what they entail. So right there, you've got a match warm-up. Now this is a pretty cool concept here that I really liked. Something that I've kind of forgotten about, and this is why I'm a fan of not only doing classes more than once, but reading books more than once, especially books like this. Totally forgot that you can have a match warm-up. There's nothing wrong with suiting up. A lot of guys think that you have to go cold, especially my fellow tactical Timmies. Oh, I gotta go cold, it's on-demand performance. Yeah, but you know what? I don't work out without warming up first. That's just reality. I prefer warming up. And you know what? It's a game and I'm there to have some fun, but I'm also there to be the best that I can be. Therefore, I want to warm up. Steve is a huge proponent of strapping up. Of course, making sure your gun is empty, your magazines are empty, going to the local safe area or warm-up stage if your club has one or if a match has one, and doing some draws, doing some Burkett reloads, doing just some basic positional draw work, doing some basic trigger work, something like that to warm yourself up. Doesn't need to be a long time, 5-10 minutes, that's it, walk away. But ideally, if at all possible, you should not be going to the match and shooting it completely cold. If that's your goal, that's fine, but if you're there to play, there to win, you need to be warming up just like you would anything else. You don't throw 400 pounds on the bar and try to deadlift it without warming up. You're gonna warm up first. Here. So hopefully you're doing the work. Hopefully this helps. Get this book. It will help you if you're tired of R&R or if you're looking for that next step. Okay, it really goes into detail about how to clean up your mind game. That cannot be overstated enough to help you with your match mode, your match practice, or excuse me, not your match practice, but your match performance and even your live fire practice, okay? Because it sucks. Some days you're gonna have a bad day on the range. What this book really tries to hammer home with everybody is that it's okay. It's okay. You shouldn't be going, oh, I missed that shot. It's, was I faster? What did I do right? What did I do wrong? Guess what? You go home, unload, make sure you're unloaded, dry fire some more if you can. And it's okay to do that. So, just to wrap that up, Principles of Performance, Refinement and Repetition, Volume 2. Pick it up. If you get it from andersonshooting.com, it always ships free. And I will be reviewing Get to Work, which will go into a little more detail than I did with this book. If you buy all three books, Refinement, Repetition, Principles of Performance, and Get to Work, you usually get a little bit of a package deal and it ships for free. I'm not paid to sell them. I just want you guys to get them because these books have been fantastic tools for me in regards to my development as a shooter. So hopefully you guys are improving. I will see you next time.